welcome, good health, thank you, means all sorts of things. Do you want to have a go at saying it yourself? Kia ora. I was born just north of Wellington City, so Wellington's the capital city and is at the bottom of the North Island, so smack bang in the middle of the country. And about 15 years ago I moved down to the bottom of the South Island, and I love it down there. There's hardly any people and beautiful scenery, and it is now my home. So my parents both still live in Wellington, and they are both, my dad is Welsh and my mum is English, but I'm a Kiwi. I was born in New Zealand, and my parents both came out to New Zealand on the last assisted passage boat. So that was when New Zealand was being colonised, and the British government were trying to encourage people to come out here and undertake work to try and establish a better economy and things. So they came out and they only had to pay £10 for their 6-week trip on a boat to get out to New Zealand, on the condition that they had to stay for 2 years. If they headed back home before 2 years was up, they had to repay the full passage. So my mum thought they were just coming for a 2-year holiday, but they ended up staying. So we're just a very long, spread out, thin strip of land. And the reason we're this long, thin strip of land is actually, I mentioned yesterday that we're one of the newest countries in the world, essentially. We were part of Gondwana land when all the continents were joined together, and we know that because some of the vegetation that we see down in Fiordland National Park is the same as what you would see in Argentina. So, however, we broke off, and then we had many millions of years ago, we have what's happened is we've got two tectonic plates. So New Zealand kind of straddles the Australasian, Indo-Australasian plate and the Pacific plate. And on the South Island, they're crashing together and pushing up the Southern Alps mountain ranges. That happened about 2 to 3 million years ago. And on the North Island, we get more of what's called subduction, where one plate goes underneath another plate. And that's where we get volcanoes, bubbling mud, geothermal activity. So that's what we get to experience when we're in Rotorua. We get to have a good taste of the geothermal activity. So we're a pretty new country. Anywhere between 800 and 1200 years ago, I hear all different numbers. It was when the Māori arrived here, as I was explaining on the coach yesterday, as part of the Pacific migration. So they had a number of waka, or canoes, that arrived in various parts of New Zealand. So I'll tell you a bit more about that as we walk up later on today, as we head off to meet Prince, and you'll learn all about those early interactions. But it was Captain Cook who first landed in New Zealand, and so he has the credit for discovering New Zealand. Because of
Karere de Kia ora. Excellent, excellent. Of course, kia ora is a very common greeting here, very informal. Literally means be well, but suffices for hello, good day, how are you, buddy, and all of that. Very informal greeting. Of course, I'm about to do a very formal ceremony. I greet you formally in my mother tongue. Anyway, so Catherine's going to introduce herself, ladies and gentlemen, and our grandchildren. So I'll leave it up to her, and then she can give us a yell of what's going to happen.
Tēnā koutou to you all, which means greetings to you all. Prince gave you your formal welcome up at the cenotaph. I'm formally saying hello from myself and my granddaughters, Constance and Holly. Constance.
Hello. Hello.
And Holly over here. Our granddaughters, Constance is Prince's second son's fourth daughter, or fourth child. And they have 6 children, so she's number 4.
Both of her parents are Māori.
Yes. And Holly is my second daughter's 5th child. First child to her second marriage. So Holly's 14, Constance is 10. Holly is one of 8. The last 4 that she headed, I delivered. So her mother, when Holly was coming, said, do you want to catch, Mum? And midwife looked up and said, if you would like to. And I thought that would be a great honour. So that sort of started a ball rolling every time she got pregnant after that,
Yeah.
Which was regularly. I was there to catch our little one. The last one, Manahuia, she's our real blonde-haired, white blonde, blue-eyed Māori child.
Her father is Māori.
Yes, and she was a slippery little one when she came flying out, and I had trouble catching her. I sort of juggled her a wee bit, but we caught her in the end. That was the main thing.
Yeah, here we're having a refreshment out in the park as we
Some of the native birds
continue our visit with Prince and his wife.
That's the tui there.
Oh, this is where we're having dinner tonight. The Occidental Cafe. We have some green-lip mussels tonight, or other things for those folks who don't want mussels. So here we are. What a lucky group, having green-lip mussels in downtown Auckland in a great little restaurant. We are very lucky to be where we are tonight, right?
A brief background about the area. So Waimangu Thermal Valley was formed in June the 10th, 1886 when Mount Tarawera erupted. This is the volcano we'll see down on the other side of Lake Rotomahana. It sparked a series of eruptions on the mountain and then a series of eruptions underneath the lake, Lake Rotomahana, and then right up through the valley here. By the time the eruption was in full swing, it was a 17-kilometre line of erupting craters. And then, so that devastated the whole area. But because a lot of the eruption sediment was lakebed sediment, trees and plants started coming in here very quickly. So everything's naturally regenerated over the last 130 years. And now the birds are starting to bring in other trees into the area as well. So people have been coming into the nearly immediately after the eruption. I think it was like 2 weeks later that people started coming in to see what was happening. And then from 1900 to 1904 we had a geyser that was erupting. So if you look on the mural on the other side here, this geyser here was called the Waimangu geyser. In Maori, the Wai means water and the Mangu means black. So rather than like Old Faithful, which is lovely clear water geyser, this one was throwing mud and ash and rocks up into the air. And it was erupting up to 1,200 feet. So, yeah, 400 meters. So massive, much taller than Auckland Sky Tower. And it would play every few days for 4 to 5 hours and then die down again. So we had 2 viewing platforms here. One, I'll show you as we get further down where those 2 were. The other one is up behind it over there. And in 1904 it just stopped playing. They think the energy just sort of petered out and it stopped altogether. So now we get to walk through the geyser basin. I'll let you know if I see any signs of untoward activity. Distance over here, and that's the one that sparked the eruption that came right up through the valley here. Down below, the first steaming water we can see down there is Frying Pan Lake, and it last erupted in 1917. So that eruption in 1917 swept right up through the valley here, lifted the roof off the accommodation house that was here, and killed 2 people that were accommodation house at the time, and so that's the last fatal eruption. They've had another couple of smaller eruptions, but nothing to worry about. So some of the first plants that started appearing in the valley were ferns, because the ferns spread by spores. The wind brought them in quite easily, and so we have 4 main tree ferns in the valley, and I have 2 of them here. So we have the common panga, which you'll see nearly everywhere, but the tall one here is the mamaku, or black mamaku. So that's the tallest tree fern in the world. Grows to 10 to 15 meters. Very subtropical looking plants. The more common one, these pangas, they grow in a lot of plantation forestry underneath the canopy there, and you can buy them for fencing. So at home I have a 40-metre long fence of pangas, buried them in the ground about this far and watered the top, and they all start growing. So you end up with this living
fence.
Yeah. They're quite amazing. So a lot of birds come in for that. We have quite a few fantails and grey warblers around home. So it's
Did they start growing after the eruption? Is that what?
These ones, yeah. Because the area got really well coated with that lake bed sediment, rather than it just being volcanic ash, which is, had no nutrients, that mud, everything started growing. So most of the ferns started appearing about 17 years after the eruption, and then the other kanukas and manukas, which are windblown seeds, and then the birds started bringing in some of the other taller trees.
This was all flat after the eruption?
Yeah, well, some of the early pictures, we'll see further down there, it was just, before the eruption, it was just a lovely sloping valley going down to the lake, and then the craters just blew everything out. There's 4 large springs that feed it, and the outflow goes down around to the right. And we'll go past the stream as it comes out. On the other side there we have little silica terraces. So at the top of that yellowy, orangey coloured thing, there's a little spring up there. The water's been flowing down and the silica terraces have slowly been building up. And then we have bacteria, thermophilic bacteria that thrive in this environment, and that's the orange colour. And then as the water cools again, the green is algae starting to appear, cyanobacteria starting to appear. So these tree ferns we're looking at here are silver ferns. You would have seen it on all our little shirts, all the sporting teams. So underneath here, you really get that silver colour. And early Maori used it for marking trails. So if you snap off a bit and lay it on the ground, you really get that colour showing up. And then, All Blacks, which is our main rugby team, have it on their shirts, and all our sporting teams actually have it on their shirts. And then last year we had a referendum to see if we actually wanted to put it onto our flag as well. And so our flag at the moment, it has similar look to Australia, and they wanted to make it more New Zealand, so the referendum failed due to political sort of... It was John Key, who was the Prime Minister at the time, his push to change the flag, and anyone who didn't like John Key voted against it, so we didn't get it. So we're stuck with our Union Jack at the moment. It will change in the end, I'm sure.
And he came on the back of a whale, a man to lead a new people, our ancestor, Paikea.
So this is the Warwick Terraces. The fissure there that doesn't have a name, that appeared after some movement some time ago, and it's creating an area like the Mammoth Springs in Yellowstone.
The valley we're in now, the Waimangu Valley, was formed, and also the lake here was formed by the eruption of Mount Tarawera during the 10th, 1886. It sparked a series of eruptions underneath the lake, opened a rift, it's called, of 14 craters underneath the lake, and then there's 7 craters going up through the valley. And the lake itself was then changed from being a small shallow lake to the deepest lake in the Rotorua area. And so it's now 20 times the original size, and the valley itself, the Waimangu Valley, changed from a small sloping valley coming down to the lake edge into lined with craters and geothermal energy.
And here's the lake we're getting ready to ride on.
Lay down your broken head. I can see you cry. Away your life. Fall like you fell from grace. Soft but sweetly say, this is my dying day. And if you don't mind, I would like to fly far away. That's all I wanna do is fly far my way. That's all I'm gonna do on my dying day. Live like you never have, taking all you can before the wind decides to lead. Like a mother, please don't let go of my hand on my dying day. And if you don't mind, I would like to fly far away. That's all I wanna do is fly my own way. Where nobody can touch me, nobody can. I'm flying my own way. That's all I wanna do on my dying day. I'm shaken by the cold of the roses that we grow to give our heads a happy state of mind. And all I need to know is where I can go. If you lock me out and leave me here to die, I will fly far away. That's all I wanna do is fly my own way. Where nobody can touch me, nobody can. I'm flying so far away. That's all I wanna do on my dying day. On my dying day. On my dying day.
Steam has been making its way to the surface through fissures and cracks in the soil. The steam coming out of the ground there is up to 100 degrees Celsius, normally between 80 to 100 degrees Celsius, and it heats the surrounding ground up as well. At the very lake edge, we can normally spot a couple of springs and little geysers bubbling away. But another amazing fact around here is that the steam gives a frost cover for some of our thermal ferns. These don't grow anywhere else in the central North Island due to the cold, but here they're protected from the weather by that steam cover. Ferric iron oxide deposits further up. The ground here is very hot and no plants can survive. As the ground cools, we can start to see our ferns start appearing, and then again our thermal carnuka, prostrate carnuka below that. The bright white we can see around the edges are older geyser sites, and as we come further around we can see that creamy coloured rock with the orange colouring. We have a couple of small geysers that hopefully will play here as we come around.
a chief I want.
All the ladies are singers. Look at these handsome men. Isn't he stunning? He makes the sun shine from the tips of his hair down to the tips of his toes. He's so handsome, he's almost ugly. But he's stolen my heart, so let's dance. He'll do. But today we do the haka in honour of you, so don't be too intimidated by the bulging of the eyes, the protrusion of the tongue. All this means is that you look very delicious. But don't worry folks, we don't need people anymore, we have McDonald's just down the road. This here's the haka. Oh, hairunga hairara! Hei-ha! Hei-ha! Kamachi waka ua emuru nei! Pakaranga emuru nei! Would you like to know a bit about the moko, the facial tattoo? Yeah. So the men, we wear 4 birds on the face. The ladies wear one of these birds, the ruru or the owl bird. You can see it on their chin. I can teach you 2 things about the moko, how we acquired the moko and the art form behind it. The moko in the past was a 3 chisel process. First chisel, cut the skin open. Second, go in deep. Third, place the colouring. If the wound healed closed, they would start again. Eventually the wound would heal open like a V. The desired effect was to leave grooves in the skin like carvings on wood. It's very painful in the past. Some cases our ancestors, they died because they couldn't handle the pain. It was too painful, but today we have the tattoo gun. The story of the moko goes like this. There was a man named Mataura who married a woman named Niwareka. One day he hit her. She ran off. Moral of the story, don't hurt your wife. Mataura got Niwareka back, became a good husband to her, but when Niwareka ran away, she ran down to the underworld. So Mataura followed her to the underworld. On his travels, he came across an old man who was wearing the moko. He said to that man, let me have that. The man said, okay, on one condition. You give me the 4 birds you carry with you, I'll create a special design for you. Those 4 birds were the bat, parrot, owl, kiwi. Okay, he placed the bat at the roof of the house. At the top of the face, okay? So head of the bat in the middle, wings of the bat on the outside. Can you see that? Head and wings. Head represents knowledge, wisdom, achievements. Wings here of the bat represent stars. Stars, okay? Navigation and astrology. And then you place the parrot on the windowsill. The parrot on the nose here. You can see the beak's parrot. No, parrot's beak. Sorry, the parrot's beak, okay? So that represents, this is very important, this represents speech making and oratory skills. Very important because we never had our written language, okay, it was all passed down through speaking and talking. And then you place the owl at the base of the house, like you saw on the ladies, they wear it on the chin. That represents guardianship. So they were the guardians of the children, that's what that meant on the chin. Okay, the men also wear it too. The last bird, kiwi, imagine beak of the kiwi and body. Beak of the kiwi and body. He placed the kiwi on Mataura's face like this. Beak's open. Okay, that's the kiwi bird. Now you know folks, we wear 4 birds on the face. Represents my tribe, my family, my ranking in the tribe, my hobbies, my skills, my achievements, my occupation, what I do. Okay, things like that, my talents. That's what it represents. List goes on. Left side represents my mother's side, peace. Right side represents my father's side, warfare. There's a balance. What we wore tonight is not real, folks. It's only paint. Okay? 5 minutes to put on. Stencils. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Oh, you look disappointed. Okay. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
We're having a walk among the giant redwoods in California, planted here beginning in 1901.
Maringinwa ngaroi mata kahuai te pori poke poke amai te marama tanga o ngā whetu waikari po waikari